Hi, I'm Shakti and welcome to Mashup. Here's where we take grandma's and mama's recipes and mash them into our own. Today we're making a chicken vindaloo. Not exactly my grandma's recipe, but hey, I'm a Goan. Can't help but make vindaloo. Stay tuned. The vindaloo is made in 3 parts. It's not a complex recipe. You break it down to 3 main parts, which is your dry masala, your wet marinade, which marinates the meat, and then the curry. It's as simple as that. Let's see how it's done. So I've got the ingredients together for about 4 people because, well, a curry is meant to be shared with a larger group. So what I am using for the dry masala is, we have about half a teaspoon of haldi or turmeric powder. We have about 10 to 12 peppercorns, black peppercorns, that is kari miri, about 8 clove pods, lavang. I'm using about 6 dried red chillies. I have about a teaspoon of khus. I have, it's not yet roasted. I have about a teaspoon of jeera. Let's go over the wet part of the marinade now. I have 1 tablespoon of tamarind paste. I have red wine vinegar. I'm going to use about a tablespoon of it. I have some finely chopped ginger and garlic, about 6 cloves of garlic and about a 1/4 to half an inch piece of ginger there. And I have these red chillies, fresh red chillies. Now I'm using these Thai bird's eye chillies because they're just so zingy. And for the curry, we have 1.5 large onion finely chopped. I have curry leaves, some dalchini, cinnamon. We have 4 tablespoons of oil. You can't reduce the content of oil here. Vegetable oil will do. Coconut oil is even better, but not everyone likes the flavor. I have about a teaspoon of mustard seeds for popping in the curry. I have some salt to taste and I have some jaggery. You need a little bit, just about this much of jaggery. Star of our dish is the chicken. So I have about 750 grams of chicken meat. And make sure that it's completely defrosted, otherwise you'll end up with stringy chicken. No one likes stringy chicken. And I have about a mug, that is 1.5 teacups worth of water, to just make sure the curry comes together. Should we start cooking? To begin with, I'm going to roast all the dry spices, but I'll roast each of the spice separately because each of them has its own burning point. And you don't want some of the spices to be under roasted and some of them burnt, because roasting is going to give us that robust flavor for the curry. So let's get started with that. You want to keep it on a low flame to keep the spices from burning. Let's start with the chili. It's going to smell heavenly. You need to move them a little so that the heat gets distributed evenly. You know that a spice is done roasting when you can smell it, and you want to take it off immediately because it continues to cook on its own heat after it's taken off. Next, I'm going to put in the khus. You want to move the pan around a little to make sure each grain gets a nice toasty brown. And just when it's brown, it comes off and goes into the mixer. Next goes in the jeera. Again, you want to evenly spread it over the pan so that each grain gets heat. Jeera is one of those spices which, when toasted or roasted, it has this characteristic flavor. And when it's done, you'll smell that flavor. And that's done. And in goes the toasted jeera. Next, we throw in the peppercorns and the clove. In go the peppercorns. And now we're just roasting the peppercorns and the clove together because they'll get done roughly at the same time. The surface of the peppercorn is just a little shiny and the clove is kind of browner, and I know it's done. And it smells lovely. Let's put that in. And then it goes. And now we are going to put in the haldi. When we do the turmeric, we switch off the gas because turmeric needs really just about a minute. Otherwise it burns quite quickly. And in goes the haldi. This combination of red and yellow, it's my favorite. And now it's time to blitz it. It should be done now. It's fine if it's a coarse powder because at the end of the day, it'll just add a little more texture to your chicken. Let's get started with the marinade. And we go in first with the tamarind. A tablespoon of the red wine vinegar. In goes the garlic and ginger. And now for some color. Let's blitz it. And the wet masala is ready, and we're now going to rub it with the dry masala into our chicken. That's our marinade. And what I'm going to do now is coat my palms with oil before I put the masala on the chicken, because let's face it, it makes my palms burn. So let's get started. Also helps for itchy hands when you're dying to cook. That's our chicken. In goes the dried masala. Whole of it. Next, we throw in the wet masala. Okay, now we're going to give it a good mix so that the masala, the wet masala and the chicken are keeping each other good company. Ideally, Vindaloo is made with duck or mutton, but I like to make it with chicken simply because it's easier to digest. When you make it with mutton or duck, you have to leave it overnight to marinate. But chicken soaks up the flavor really quick. So I think about an hour also does the trick. The chicken and I are well rested. It's been an hour. And now I'm going to get the curry started. We'll start by switching on the gas to a medium flame. And by pouring in the oil. That's about 4 tablespoons of it, 4 to 5. Once we can see that the oil is a bit heated, we're going to throw in the mustard seeds. And now the mustard goes in. I'm giving it a quick stir. And now closing the lid to let it pop. When you hear that popping sound, you know that it's done. So carefully open it because these things tend to pop straight out at you. And throw in the cinnamon. Quick stir. And now I'm going to throw in the onions. That sizzle should tell you that you've got the right flavors into your oil. Now we're going to cover the onion and let it become transparent. Let's check if the onions are done. Yes, it is. That steam that came out gave me a whiff of sweet cinnamon, pungent mustard and just about caramelizing onion. I know that the chicken is ready to go in. Let's pull in the chicken now. Look at that. It's ready to go in. Let's put it in piece by piece. As each of the meat pieces goes in, you will hear a sizzle. The thing is, this masala is so rich that you could just fry or grill these pieces and eat it if you don't want a curry. But I don't feel like I've eaten a full meal unless I've eaten rice. So there has to be curry. We're now going to use the water. Nothing goes waste. I'm going to add the water to the marination bowl. We clean it up with the water. Get as much masala as we can. And in goes the water with the masala. Just a quick stir to make sure that the masala is evenly spread. Now we cover the curry. I'm going to turn the flame up slightly because I'm hungry. I really am. It should take it about 15 to 20 minutes for the chicken to cook. And then I'll tell you what to do. You stay tuned. Okay, it's been 15 minutes and I'm curious to know what happened to the chicken. So let's have a look. And look at that. It's all done. Look at how the curry has come together. The chicken is done. All we need to do now is to add our salt, the jaggery and some curry leaves. The beauty about curry leaves is that it doesn't smell, but put it into the heat and it gives out this characteristic smell. I used to hate it as a child, but I love it now. I'm going to give it a quick stir so that the salt, jaggery and the curry leaves get a chance to spread all over. And now I'm going to close the lid and let this sit on a low flame for about 5 minutes before actually serving this Vindaloo. Look, it's simple. It's been 5 minutes and our Vindaloo is ready. Now this is a typical Goan dish with a zing, and if you want to do a party where you don't want to be finishing up the dish at the last minute, all you have to do is put this together, put some Irani pav on the side and you'll have a lip smacking party. But for that you've got to bookmark, favorite and share this recipe, because I'm not sharing my chicken with you. Subscribe to India Food Network, because I'm not going to stop making yummy food, and neither should you. So hit subscribe now.
We've got loads more for you, so subscribe to this channel and ping us at food@pingnetwork.in to tell us what you would like to see here.